Guys, welcome to CES. I'm going to show you off some new G-Series products that we're launching here at the show. This is our brand new G7 G-Series product. This is the thinnest G-Series product to date. Comes in at just under 20 millimeters. We've packed a ton of performance into the new G5 and G7 product line, where previously we just went up to 1060, GTX 1060. All these products will now have the new RTX 2080 MQ graphics and all of the GPUs below that. We also support up to Core i9 on the processor, as well as Core i7, Core i5. You can see we've got a brand new design on this. Clean bottom, clean look and feel. All the new products are narrow border, three-side narrow border. This is a full aluminum body construction. So we've got an aluminum A cover, aluminum C cover, and an aluminum B cover. That's what gives us that super rigid product, but also really, really thin. So really, really impressive ID and form factor here. We've also added a lot of gaming features into the product that weren't previously there. For example, we'll have a 144 Hertz gaming panel, where previously we were only 60 Hertz. Now we have a 144 Hertz panel. We'll have G-Sync capability and non-G-Sync capability. We'll also have Alienware Command Center, which I'll talk about in a second, across all new G5 and G7 classes of products. And then additionally, we'll have killer wireless options too. You can see that we're also integrating our RGB illuminated backlit keyboard that's controlled via Command Center. So really impressive product. Let me get into some of the ports here. So SD card reader, USB on the right side. We've got Thunderbolt Type-C with charging capability on the left. Super speed USB 3.1 headset jack. And then on the back, we have HDMI out, power, USB, a mini display port that allows you to have a G-Sync panel and port G-Sync out to an external display, gigabit Ethernet, and a Kensington lock. So also show off the 17-inch. So 17-inch G7 is effectively the same thing. So from a component perspective, from a speeds and feeds, it's going to be very similar. The only difference you're going to find is that it is a larger format 17-inch panel, and then it's also a little bit thicker. So our G7 is all metal. This is plastic. This one, I'm going to show off a little bit of what we're doing with Command Center. So if you're unfamiliar with Command Center, it's a piece of software that we've internally developed within Alienware. And it's something that has historically been reserved for Alienware. We're now putting it across the entire portfolio. It's now available on all G5 and G7 products, but it's really a unique piece of software that integrates game settings, your lighting, your sound, your audio, and all of your game library. So what's interesting is that if you go in, you can change all your lighting for the keyboard, for example, and it's the same for Alienware, so the interface is going to be exactly the same. You have your game library, which we don't have anything loaded in here right now, but all of your games would show up. What's unique about this is that you can actually set profiles by game. So you can change your thermal settings, you can change your audio, you can change basically anything that is related to your system, you can change it by game. So when you load those new games, those settings will automatically upload. We actually have Nahimic audio on this, but it's really unique in the sense that, let me see if I can find it here. It has a new audio Recon feature that is provided to us by Nahimic. But basically what this is while you're playing a first-person shooter game, it uses the 7.1 audio to actually let you know where the player is coming from or where that audio is coming from, and it showcases it as a visual representation on the screen. So if you're getting shots coming from behind you, you don't know where it is, you can reference the audio Recon circle and understand where those shots are coming from. So from a system perspective, this particular system is a Core i7 with the new Coffee Lake chipset, 8th gen from Intel. We will offer Core i9 as well as Core i5. This goes up to 32 gigabytes of RAM, and then it also has up to RTX 2080 MQ graphics. We'll also offer all of the GPUs below that, 2070 MQ, so on and so forth, all the way down to 1050 Ti for this to hit a very wide price range depending on your preference. We'll have dual drive storage, meaning that we'll have hard drive and SSD capabilities in combination, so you can put your operating system on your SSD for really quick responsiveness. In addition, we have two battery options. One's a 60 watt hour and the other one is a 90 watt hour. So with the 90 watt hour, we're getting roughly 15 hours of benchmark battery life, and then 60 watt hours is less than that. But with that higher battery density, you have a lot of capability, a lot of gaming for a lot of hours. So I want to talk a little bit about the performance of this system. So like I said, we have RTX 2080 MQ graphics. That requires a tremendous amount of thermal performance. So we actually have dual heat pipe, dual fan configuration. Intake is through the bottom. And then we actually have 4 exhaust zones. So the primary exhaust zones are in the rear. And then we have 2 secondary exhaust zones on the side of the product. Also wanted to mention that we have optional killer wireless. Basically what that allows us to do is prioritize the network traffic coming in and prioritize it for game software. So when it comes to latency, you want to make sure that all of that traffic coming into the product, it doesn't mess up your game. So with the killer wireless options, we're able to have that on our G5 and our G7 line of products. Another piece of news that we've got at the show today is that we're going to be introducing OLED panels into our G series line of products, specifically on the G7 class on the 15-inch. And so if you don't know anything about OLED and you're a gamer, you want to know about OLED. It's got the fastest response time in the industry, highest contrast ratio, 100,000 to 1, 100% DCI-P3 color space. So from a game responsiveness, first-person shooter, to front of screen display, this is going to be the absolute best that you can buy. So our G7 product starts at $1099. Everything that you see here today, with the exception of the OLED, is available online today through Dell.com. OLED will be available later in the year.